For the past year, Jill Blair and I have been embarking on a really fun project where we gathered stories, about 18 stories from different people who had had the opportunity to work with John over many, many years. And after we listened to each of the stories, sometimes a very specific example of, some little story that was about him and the person, we then went back and looked at the themes that ran through the stories. And out of that, we decided to create a children's book with narration and also illustrations by Christina Young. And what you're about to hear is actually the story that we have written. And you will also get to see the beautiful images that go along with the story. So I'm going to start right now. He's accustomed to the ride on the rickety passenger ferry that can only carry a few people at a time. The ferry has no schedule, and eventually the ferryman shows up to take him to the island. After disembarking, it's a 15-minute walk to the building. That is, depending on your pace that day. There is no longer a lock on the door. He enters the building. It's dark inside. He knows this space so well and makes his way towards the windows. Opening the shutters that protect from gusty winds on the sea, early morning light floods the room. The place is a bit of a mess. Who would have left it like this? He begins to put things in order and lights a fire in the fireplace. He wonders what he will do. What can be made here now? All kinds of ideas fly through his head. So many possibilities. He now remembers that over time, darkness can become light once again. He breathes in the fresh, salty air. A heaviness begins to lift. As he experiences his aloneness, he decides to welcome people to join him one by one. It's not clear how they are chosen. His visitors find their way to the ferry. There is trepidation for the travelers as they wonder if this old, beat-up ferry will actually make it to the island. They know once they take the chance and board, there is no turning back, since this is a one-way trip only. Their crossings are often very difficult, with storms that seem to come out of nowhere. Many have weathered much in the past and are often tired, sometimes scared, and at times hopeless and lost. They sit by the fire, drinking the tea he has poured. They have finally come to this place where they feel brave enough to tell him of the things they long for and dream about. All the ways they believe they can make a difference. The ways they must make a difference in the world. He listens. Sometimes he asks deep questions. Often there is an easy silence between them. He does not know how to do what they are talking about. But as they speak with such passion and excitement, he imagines in his mind's eye the thing they believe in and want to create. He's a writer, not a builder. He knows that inside the house there is a workshop with all the materials needed to build a vessel to cross the treacherous, unknowable sea for almost any journey imagined. He brings the visitors to the workshop where they can begin to build. Sometimes he leaves them alone in the workshop, for some people just want to build on their own, figuring out which kind of boat, what kind of materials. Sometimes they ask for help and he works with them side by side. Sometimes they need others too, and he invites a few extra people to come to join the effort. And when this happens, there is a kind of hum or energy in the shop, a relaxed focus, a sense of relief. A quiet intention can be felt throughout. Sometimes there seems to be no actual work going on, just conversations to help the person in their boat building process. Although there is a sense of warmth and peace inside the building, often the storms on the sea continue to rage on, and each person knows once they have their boat, they must set sail, not exactly knowing how they will reach their destination. They have been buoyed by the man's belief and the quiet way he brings out courage in them. And as they set sail, they know, there at this island, in that building, they will always find a touchstone. The day has come when there are now enough people carrying out their own work and passing it to the next generation. And now it is time for him to set sail. He sends out a signal, a special foghorn that is known near and far, and one by one all the people who built their homemade vessels there come into the safe harbor. They come to help him build his boat, to see him set sail, to cheer him on. And then they leave the island, heading out again. He's ready. Well, as ready as you can be when setting out on a voyage. He's watched others set sail so many times, and he trusts that this is just the right time. He looks around. He remembers the conversations and the laughter and the tears. He remembers every single person who passed through the door as they entered and as they departed. He closes the shutters once more, and he boards his boat and sets sail. Epilogue. The building still stands sturdy even though storms hurl themselves around her. There is no lock, and from time to time you can see smoke rising from the chimney because someone or a small group of people have come back to disembark and walk that familiar path to the building. Some come to be with their thoughts and have time to imagine their next dreams. Some share the adventures they've had along the way. Some come to sit by the fire with others in silence or talk together. And there is nothing else they need at that moment, because in that place they know they will find their way.